Afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another DMU live stream. This live stream is all about studying postgraduate research within the Leicester Media School. We're going to be here for the next hour, and we are going to be joined by current students and a wonderful professor from the Media School. If you would like to ask any questions, if you have any things that you would like knowing, whether it's being what it's like to study as a student at DMU, or if you just have any questions on your PGR application, drop us a comment, or even if you just want to say hi, let us know you're watching, then please feel free to do so. I'll be your host today. My name's Georgia, and I work within the marketing team at De Montfort University. That also means that I'm probably not an expert to talk about all things research, but don't worry, I have brought some fabulous people along with me today. So I'd like to introduce Tracy first, Professor Tracy Harwood. Hi, Tracy.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you. How are you?
Good, good. Yes, I'm fine, thank you. So I'm Tracy Harwood. I'm a Professor of Digital Culture at the Institute of Creative Technologies in the Leicester Media School at De Montfort. I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about the research degrees that we offer in the different research institutes, and look forward to hearing any questions that you've got.
Thank you so much, Tracy. So as I say, Tracy's going to be with us for about the next hour, answering any questions and just talking a little bit about postgraduate research. Now, we couldn't do a postgraduate research live stream without bringing some students along with us. So I'd like to introduce Vidathri. Hi, Vidathri.
Hi, my name is Vidathri. I'm a graduating student from De Montfort University studying MA Investigative Journalism.
Thank you so much, Vidathri. So Vidathri can answer all questions on what it's like to be a student at De Montfort University, in particular courses within Leicester Media School. And we have another student as well, just so we've got a little bit of rain. This is Jennifer. Lovely to meet you, Jennifer.
Hi.
Jennifer,
hello, my name is Jennifer Ere. I just graduated from, no, not graduated, I just submitted my PhD thesis from the Leicester Media School because I'm still here to do my Viva. And yeah, Jennifer, it was actually an awesome experience as well, because I had to change topics twice. So if you may want to do a PhD, I'm your plug. Yeah, ask me any questions you want to ask. Yeah, thank you.
There we go. So Jennifer again is another student. So if you do have any questions, please let Vidathri and Jennifer know by popping them in the comments. What we're going to do for the time being is we're just going to say goodbye to Jennifer and Vidathri. And we're just going to speak to Tracy a little bit. So we have a few slides that I think you'd like to show, Tracy.
Yes, please.
So we're just going to talk a little bit about those. And then in around the next sort of 20 minutes, then we're going to bring in the students to talk about their experience.
Thanks, Georgia. Are we going to get the slides up?
Yeah, just haven't got to wait for those slides.
Bear with us. So I've just got a few slides that I thought you might find helpful in giving you a bit of an overview of what each of the research institutes do, because they're prettier than I am.
Oh, don't. So what I'll do is I will take myself off the stream. So Tracy, if you just want to talk through the slides as they are, and then just let me know when you want to go next.
Yeah, of course. Thanks, Georgia. Okay. So yeah, just a little bit about the postgraduate research provision that we offer in the Leicester Media School, and also I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the doctoral college support that we can offer as well. So next slide, please. So we have 5 research groups and institutes within the Leicester Media School. The Cinema and Television History Research Institute, Kathy we call that, the Media and Culture Research Centre, the Media Discourse Centre, the Institute for Sonic Creativity, which is part of Music Technology and Innovation, and the Institute of Creative Technologies, which actually is the institute that I'm from. So I can probably best speak to that one, but I will certainly give the best overview I can of the other institutes as well. Thank you. Okay, so let's start with Kathy. Kathy was opened by Ken Loach in March 2010. It's one of our top-rated institutes in the university. It was rated as 4-star, that's the top rating, in the research evaluation framework exercise, which was conducted last in 2014 and will next be conducted next year. Should have been this year, but of course COVID has put a little bit of a delay on things. Its research focus is specialising in evidence-based research methods, and it hosts a bunch, I think it would be fair to say, some very, very high quality film and media related archives, 12 in all at the moment, as I understand it. And that includes the Hammer Script Archives, the Cinema Museum's Indian Cinemas Archive, the Sir Norman Wisdom Collection, the Andrew Davis Archive, the Anita Anand Archive, the Palace Pictures and Scala Productions Archive, the Leicester Film Society and Phoenix Arts Centre Archives, as well as the Peter Whitehead Archive. These are really stunning resources that students and staff can draw on. And it has considerable links with other areas of research activity in the faculties, not just within the computing engineering and media schools within that faculty, but also within our arts and humanities faculty as well. For example, the Centre for Adaptations in Art and Design, as well as partnering with media and industry. And those, for example, include, in terms of partnerships, the BFI's Silent Film Festival, which is actually directed by one of the Institute's members and is hosted out of Phoenix, which is based in Leicester, one of the first digital media centres to be opened in the country. The UK Asian Film Festival, the Cinema Museum, Phoenix generally, Network Releasing, Powerhouse Films, Palace Pictures, as well as the Royal Albert Hall. So there's lots going on. In terms of research that this institute is particularly focused on, for example, subject areas are things to do with women's film and television history, British cinema and film culture, Italian cinema, transnational cinema, silent cinema, cult cinema, Bollywood and independent Indian cinema, transmedia adaptations, for example, heritage cinema culture and period television drama, film ephemera and material culture, as well as audiences, reception studies and memories of cinema going, film fandom, fan works and social media, film exhibition and cinema history, film festivals, documentary theory and practice, screen performance and style studies, as well as 1960s and counterculture. So there's a range of different research activities going on by the extensive research team within CAFE. Of course, you've got a range of different study options, as well as part-time masters by research and MPhils. You've also got doctoral options as well, and you can draw on a thoroughly expert supervisory team, which will also support you with ongoing training. I'm not too sure what the situation is with our global opportunities, but we do offer global opportunities which students can take advantage of. Of course, we're a little bit stymied by COVID at the moment, but I look forward to the resumption of international global opportunities in due course. And that would include things like funding for travel and conferences, as well as opportunities to present work within the institute and the doctoral college community. A couple of examples of students that are recently graduated on our next slide, this slide. A couple of testimonies really, one from Cassie Brummett and another from James Fennick, and you can see both now are lecturers in their respective fields at a middle north university, Sheffield Hallam, both having explored quite interesting areas of research, one looking at the Harry Potter franchise and the other looking at the Stanley Kubrick production monographs. has produced a monograph from work into the Stanley Kubrick productions. I'll give you a moment or two to read those. So it's a bit of a job picking examples to draw on of testimonials, because you need time to read them. But as you can see, both are making full use of the work to do other things beyond their PhD studies in these cases. So that's it for Kathy. I'll talk a little bit about how you can get in touch with the Institute Director, with whom I recommend you have a conversation if you've got a PhD idea that fits within this research field. So next centre, please. This one is the Media and Culture Research Centre. It's newly formed, formed in 2018, and its aim is to support both empirical, that's research that's undertaken where data is collected by the researcher, as well as theoretical or conceptual research. And what it does is it explores the relationships between media, politics, technology and society. And as you can see, what I've put on the slide here is a range of areas of interest, which include media policy and regulations, sports broadcasting, subcultures with foci, say, on punk and heavy metal, representation of race and gender in media and TV, media technical change and culture, media democracy and political communication, public relations, media and promotional cultures, cultural citizenship, multiculturalism and decolonization, as well as festival studies in here. And again, you can see there are a range of partners. So, for example, Western East Coast US universities are involved with the research, as well as in Southern Ireland, in Italy, in France, and in Germany. So there's a bunch of people you can draw on internationally. For example, in terms of research that's being undertaken, colleague Indrani Lahiri has been working a lot with mental health, children and the pandemic, and has recently been awarded grants by the GCRF on mental health literacy through theatre in India. Earlier this year, founded Children's Stories in Times of Corona with nursery school parents and head teachers, as well as on Facebook, and has also launched a global arts contest to engage parents and children, and has also founded a digital platform to build community resilience based on creative arts and performance. So there's lots of projects going on that are themed around some of the current issues that we're facing and the roles that media can play within it. So this is another strand of media-related research, quite different to film studies, but more related to media. And there are a number of very experienced academics that you can draw on. And again, I'll give you the contact for the centre director later on in the presentation. So moving on, the next centre that I wanted to talk about is the Media Discourse Centre. This centre has been established quite some time. The mission of the Media Discourse Centre is critical analysis of the contemporary social order, with particular emphasis on the global character of mediated communication. And if we go to the next slide, I can explain a little bit more about what that means. And in terms of the subjects that the centre engages with. So you can see here some of the subjects relate to COVID and framing the public discourse, related to protests, media and investigative journalism, media discourse and politics, social media use, surveillance or surveillance, I suppose, as well, and identity, class, gender, and the post-colonial. Peace journalism relates very strongly to the UN Sustainable Development Goals, on which it also links some of its projects. I can't actually see that on this slide at the moment, but that is definitely in there as well. Just bear with me 1 second. So just track something. So peace journalism, as I said, the global rise of the far right is another research area that is proving quite popular at the moment in terms of ongoing work. The global promotion and mediation of the UN Sustainable Development Goals, of course. Media, discourse and advertising is another big area. Ethnography, grounded theory as methodologies. Cultures of resistance in Southern Europe, so for example, Spain, Greece and Italy. Media discourse and critical scrutiny studies. I beg your pardon, critical security studies. Critical discourse and multimodal analysis, and then child sexual abuse and the media. And you can see there some of the links and partnerships, some of the recent outputs and publications, and some of the recent and current PhD students. So there's a lot of team members involved with this research centre, headed by Professor Stuart Price. 90% of the PhDs in this centre are actually women, and 60% are current, described as BAME students, so from ethnic minorities. And the focus is very much on global research. So next centre, Music, Technology and Innovation. This is the Institute for Sonic Creativity. Again, another long-standing research institute that has a 4-star rating within the research evaluation framework of 2014, and will be expected to perform equally as well in the one upcoming. It's focused on electroacoustic music, composition, sonic arts, electroacoustic music studies, and outreach related to those particular areas of what I would call practice-based research. And in terms of today's music culture and music technological developments, what you're talking about here really is music using any sound as potential material, spatializing sound as areas of research, new digital instruments such as various types of synthesizer, new media art, and it has some amazing projects which exemplify some of the research that has been undertaken. For example, EARS and EARS 2, which are definitely worth looking at on the Institute's website if you get a few minutes and you're interested in this particular area of study. In terms of what it offers, it has an annual concert series which attracts a pretty big audience. Seminar series, various symposia related to some of the research themes, and it's very active in international conferences and festivals. It also has a jukebox, an online jukebox of recordings from researchers as well as staff. And the director, Professor Lee Landy, co-directs the Electroacoustic Music Studies Network and is also editor of the Organised Sound Journal, which is a part of published by the Cambridge University Press. So do have a look at EARS and EARS 2. EARS includes work being undertaken with UNESCO, and EARS 2 is now part of the Cypriot National Curriculum. So definitely worth having a read about them. In terms of, excuse me, not used to talking. In terms of partnerships and collaborators, it has a really impressive list of folks that it partners with. For example, the Central Conservatory of Music in Beijing, the Conservatorio di Musica in Bologna, the Miso Music in Lisbon, the Sorbonne in Paris, the Tempo Real Studios in Florence, ZKM in Karlsruhe in Germany, and so on. Definitely have a look at some of the collaborations that they're involved with. In terms of potential projects and potential links with industry, you know, they're very open to ideas. If you've got ideas, proposals are very welcome. And again, discuss those with Lee, and I'll give you the contacts at the end.
Oh,
Have we got a problem?
Tracy, just before we go on to it, do you want to get a drink? Just because I'm conscious you've been speaking for quite a while.
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah, no, I'm good. How are we
Just
doing
on
for
this,
time?
yeah, we're doing fine. I just wanted to make sure that you didn't need a drink. I'll put your slides back
I'm
up.
not,
Just want
you
to
know
make
what? I'm
sure.
not used to talking.
It's what it's like, especially these live streams. Right, I just wanted to make sure you're okay, that's all.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks very much. I'm fine, thanks. Okay, so I just wanted to briefly touch on a couple of well, not really testimonials, but examples of projects that the Institute of Sonic Creativity research students have been doing at the moment. So Sam's research is looking at craft-focused electronic instruments. She's created these woolly pom-poms, which has attracted a huge amount of media attention. So there's news stories about Sam on MTI's blog, worth a read. And similarly, Amit's creating noise in the Asian underground building is also attracted media interest. So Sam's a current student, Amit's a recently graduated student. So again, stories on the blog worth reading about. And finally, Institute of Creative Technologies. This is, can you move on slide? Thank you. So this is a research institute that I'm involved with. I'm not its director. I'm a deputy director on it. We have a number of research clusters within the institute, but just in terms of headline, it's a research institute that's focused on practice and theory of creative technologies. That's a range of different types of emerging creative technologies. For example, AI, VR, motion capture, various kinds of new emerging technologies, game-based technologies, as well as digital performance, game art, graphics and animation, and immersive realities. And the research themes are to do with creativity in a digital age, urban living, lifelong well-being, social value and the role of creative technologies in our everyday and creative lives. So this again is another research institute that was formed in 2006, but unlike the other research institutes that I've been talking about, its research tends to fit into other units of assessment within the research evaluation framework. So we all publish in different fields. So I have colleagues that publish in performance arts, and others in fine art, and others in computing engineering fields. I tend to publish in business, for example. So we have a high rating, but not a rating specific for the institute. So it's focused really on what I would call transdisciplinary research, as bringing together different disciplines to create something entirely new, mixing arts, science, technologies, business to produce practice-based research, and then looking at research and development and applications of it. So some of the research topics, as I've said, are to do with the roles of AI as a creative practice, 3D imaging, interaction design, immersive performance, and so on. Examples of current research projects: we have a large project that's been running with the audience of the future, a strand of Innovate's research and development theme. There is an AI art and social impacts research strand. We have various outputs related to the work that we're doing, and a bunch of internationally recognized partners, as you can see on the previous slide, please, in terms of people like the Royal Shakespeare Company, Epic Games, that's Unreal, as well as local organizations such as High Cross and Hammersons, who own High Cross, Phoenix as well, and people like Sidefest, one of our former students who has set up a festival-based company which offers STEM experiences for younger members of families, and so on. So a couple of testimonials on this one as well. Next slide, please. So Sean Clark graduated earlier this year. Sean actually was an established artist in the city, and in the city of Leicester, that is, and is very well connected with the Computer Arts Society, and has just set up the Computer Arts Archive, which is a museum that will shortly be opening to the public. So Stacey is a current student doing her work on performing arts pedagogy and practice for post-16 education. And Mo Latifa graduated a few years ago, but is now working in the Department of Computer Science in Sharjah. And he looked at the role of design thinking in the development of computer solutions, and is doing very well in the development of his career, which mixes these two subjects together. Just very briefly, I'll tell you a little bit about the doctoral college and what we can offer to support, and really what we expect students to do as part of their PhD degrees. We like you to get involved with our research community, and that means doing things like the thesis prize competitions, which are held annually, and these link into a national competition structure, as does the research poster competition, also a national competition. And we also offer, as I previously said, competitive conference awards. There are links to the Midlands 4 cities for the right research projects, which focus on arts and humanities related disciplines, and that can be in any of the research groups that I've mentioned today. We offer a doctoral college lecturer series, which is about to kick off again. I haven't got the current programme to hand. We offer doctoral training, which is tied specifically to your research institute, as well as a general doctoral training support programme, which is linked to the VTI system, which is a national standard for training and support of doctoral students. So if you want to get in touch, these are the folks to get in touch with. These are the respective institute directors. You can see the emails for each of them. But if you can't find the emails on the web, I'm sure any one of us would be delighted to point you in the right direction. Just contact me, for example. That's about all I've got to say. Thanks for listening. I hope I've not rattled on too long. And really happy to take any questions.
Thank you so much for that, Tracy. That was brilliant. Thank you to everyone watching. As you say, Tracy went through so much information there. So if you do need anything clarifying or you have any specific questions, then we're going to be here for about the next 30 minutes. So just pop a comment in the box and we'll get that answered for you. So Tracy, I will leave you to just have a little moment to yourself after that. So Tracy will be back later to answer any questions. Thank you so much for that, Tracy. What we're going to do now is we are going to speak to our current students. So we're going to speak to, just going to bring Jennifer back. Hi, Jennifer. And I'm going to bring Vidafri back as well. Hi, Vidafri.
Hi again. Hello,
Hi, you both. Hi. Okay, so what I'd like to do, and I'm just going to ask a couple of questions to you both, just about your journey at DMU and sort of how you got into postgraduate research. So Vidafri, if I can start with you, what was your journey to study the course that you're doing at the moment, the PhD, sorry?
Yes, so I finished my bachelor's in journalism and mass communications, and I wanted to get into something more specific. And I've always dreamed and worked on stories like corruption, malpractices in the society, and everything. So I felt investigative journalism is one of the finest course for my future plans and career. So, and then I started doing my research and found De Montfort University offering the specific course which I always wanted to work for about 2 years. I took about 2-3 days, read each and every article about investigative journalism from De Montfort University, have seen social media videos of De Montfort University. So coming up with the social media, De Montfort University social media channels have been really helpful for me because they're very informative, and everything which I needed was at one place. So I've applied for the university. It took a while for my confirmation and everything. And one happy day, I've received an email saying you are into the course. And now the important part, because I haven't left my home for 22 years, and this is the first time I'm leaving my country and stepping into another country, which is a big move for me. And when I first stepped into the university and I've spoken to people, heard about my course, got to know more about the academics and everything. It was so exciting for me to be in De Montfort University with each and everyone who has been very helpful, and the course being very descriptive, very useful for my future plans and everything. So never ever in the complete year, because now I'm graduating, this the final days of my course, all these months I never felt that I was away from home. I never felt that I'm left from my place, because each and every day was a new day for me. Every day was something new. DMU taught me something. DMU taught me how to live alone. DMU taught me how to grow from my mistakes. DMU taught me how to make mistakes and learn from them.
Yeah.
And each and everything was very clear and particular about the course in De Montfort University.
That's amazing, Vidafri. And just as like a quick, how was it coming to sort of the UK and Leicester as an international student? How did you find that transition?
Being an Indian, Leicester is an amazing city for anyone who can live, because Leicester is like a mini Mumbai. You see a lot of Indians, you never miss your culture, you see your people everywhere. Because Leicester being so um, uh,
Diverse.
diverse in its
Yeah.
culture, so which was really helpful for me. I never felt I was away from home. So yes, I do agree that's a really big move, but
Mm.
this has to be done. This has to be done. You need to learn at this age. So the opportunities given to me by De Montfort University are really amazing, which I can go deeper when in this live program.
Amazing. Thank you, Vidafri. Jennifer, same sort of question to you. What was your journey to DMU like? How did you decide to come to DMU? What was your journey?
Yeah, okay. Firstly, I graduated from Coventry University, where I studied my MA in Communication, Culture, and Media, and I returned to my country and had a little job, and I wanted to come back to do my PhD in the UK, so I started searching for universities. I had to email professors directly, and I was researching on a university that was really diverse and will have this strong research culture. And I happened to someone introduced me to Professor Stuart Price, who's the head of the Media Discourse Center, and I emailed him, and he was very good and he was very helpful. He asked, he said I should email him my proposal, which I did, and he went through it, and everything went so fast, and I was given the admission. And the way Professor Stuart Price attended to me, I said no, I want him to be one of my supervisors. I also got an offer from Australia, from Canberra University, but I said no, because the Media Discourse Center then was really appealing to me, because they have this strong research culture, and I really wanted to, be a part of that research culture. And throughout the journey, I think so far so good. The Media Discourse Center has really evolved in global research over the time. And last year, I organized a film festival, the first ever Black Film Festival, where people came in from different cities in the UK and attended. And it was really a good event for the Black History Month. And it was also publicized on Demon Magazine. So if you can go there, you'll see the event there, headed by I and Professor Stuart Price and Professor Jason Lee from the Media Discourse Center. And we also brought in a guest speaker from University of Wales. Yeah, I think the Media Discourse Center is really good, and anyone that's interested in doing research in media, you're welcome. Come to the Media Discourse Center. We are here to welcome you all. Thank
Jennifer,
you.
I love your passion, Jennifer. It's amazing. So Jennifer, as a student that did their MA in the UK at a different university, what was kind of like the difference from stepping up from doing a postgraduate taught course to doing your research course. Can you just tell us a little bit about that difference?
Well, I'll say coming into the PhD at the Montfort University, it was as if I hadn't gone to school at all, because my master's days, I actually didn't know how to do research. It was like I was doing research from scratch, because it was really, as in the experience for the media discourse, Professor Swart Price is really good. When as in my two supervisors, my two advisors, they're really good, they're really helpful. You know, when I was at Coventry University, I didn't really have that support, that one-to-one support from my advisors. Then they were like, just do your research, go. But these advisors, when I mean good, Dr. Ben Habisha and Professor Stuart Price from the Media Discourse Center, they are really good. They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
If you have them as your advisors, you'll be like tops in the world. Their thesis is going to be really good. I'm telling you, they were really motivated. Yeah. I was really motivated by their support and all, and it helped me evolve. Right now, I can boast and I'm proud that I've submitted my thesis, and I'm waiting to do my viva in some few weeks from now. Yeah.
That's amazing, Jennifer. Thank you. So, Badafri, just coming back to you, in terms of support that you had at DMU, did you feel like that what kind of support did you get whilst you was doing your course?
Right from the first day of my course, I've been very keen with my professors, Pavis Khan and Amadeep Basse. So I think they're wonderful. They're wonderful in teaching. They're wonderful human beings. They've supported me academically. They've supported me personally as well. So the opportunities from them have literally opened doors for my future, which actually helped me to do my work experience in London in one of the finest production company. And I broke the undercover investigative story for the Sunday Times on Leicester's textile industries. And today, the good news is that story is one of the finalist nominations for the Asian Media Awards. So all these things could have happened only because of their support. The way they teach, the way we have the module is something which is really wonderful for anyone to understand and actually learn from the basics and to go into the deep subject of the prospects and the module. So I'm always thankful and grateful for their support. I would never ever forget their help.
Oh, it's great. It's great to hear that you've both had such wonderful experiences. As we mentioned, we're here again for about the next sort of 20 minutes or so. So if you do have any questions about student life, what it was like for Jennifer and Badafri, sort of if you have questions for Badafri on what it's like being a international student coming into Leicester in the UK, feel free to ask him those questions. So we'll be bringing Jennifer and Badafri back in a little bit later. So massive thank you to both of them. Now, I know one thing that quite a lot of you will be thinking about is, what does the campus look like? What is life like at DMU? So we're just going to play a short video that will give you a quick whistle-stop tour around our campus. So that is DMU campus, and watching that video is making me miss being on campus so much. So just to give you a bit more information, DMU's campus is purely an on-campus university, which means everything you need is within the vicinity. You're not going to have to go to different sites. We're about depending on how quick you walk, about a 5-10 minute walk away from the town centre, which has all the amenities that you'll need, loads of fun things to do as well. Where Leicester is, we're obviously based within the East Midlands. That's an hour away from London on the train, so we're very much a central location. And in regards to the current circumstance and the current situation that we're in involving COVID, our campus has undergone a huge transformation at the moment. So there's a lot of one-way systems in place. There is hand sanitizers all over the university. And what you'll notice is there'll be some sort of slight changes to the way that you communicate with your supervisors. A lot of it might be done on Microsoft Teams and via email. They'll still be there to support you. It's just done in a slightly different way. You might find yourself being in bigger seminar halls and seminar rooms just to accommodate social distancing. Everything that we are looking to do is just to make sure that everyone that comes onto campus feels as safe as possible. So I just want to bring Tracy back for a second. Hi, Tracy.
Hi.
So I know we've gone through quite a lot in anything that's in the Leicester Media School. So I just wanted to give you this opportunity to obviously just talk about if there's anything else you feel like we might have missed off, or any more information you'd like to give students.
Sure, a couple of things really. I think it's worth thinking about how you might apply for a PhD here. I don't know if we've got a banner. We were going to have a banner which you might want to put online. That's worth having a look at the process online. What you'll find with that link is some guidance there about writing a proposal, which I definitely recommend that you have a look at. Thinking about who you might want to supervise your work. That means doing a little bit of research about what the different areas of activity, research activity that each of the centres get up to, and what each of the researchers within those centres get up to. So have a look at the research centres, contact the institute director and discuss some of your ideas there, and use that sort of connection, if you like, as an opportunity to develop a proposal before you actually submit an application, because that cuts down the development time for getting your application processed. And then once you've got your application into the university, we turn them around quite quickly, really quickly, in fact, I think within a month, and you'll get some feedback and an interview and a decision fairly quickly. Obviously, it's dependent on visa status if you're coming from a different country, or you know, we need references which support your academic status as well. So how do you apply is a key thing to have a think about, and I would definitely recommend you have a look at that website. The next intakes, we have 3 periods of intake during the course of a year. The next intake is in January, and the deadline for us receiving applications, which is the full proposals and the completed application form, is the 2nd of November. And thereafter, the next intake is in April, and the deadline for that will be the 1st of February. And then it will be next October, for which the deadline is likely to be mid-August, although we don't have those dates, that date published yet. So bear in mind that the intake and the application deadline date are slightly different. So there's not a lot of time to develop a proposal for the January intake. If you're thinking of that now, there's quite a lot of work to do to get that in. One of the questions we often get asked is, do we have any scholarships? Well, yes, we do. These are annual scholarships, usually very competitive process. We receive hundreds of scholarship applications a year, so you have to really think about it as a prospective process. It's not to dissuade you from putting an application in, but think about it and think about it realistically in terms of, you know, can you do a PhD in any other way if your scholarship is unsuccessful, scholarship application is unsuccessful. So those are the kinds of things that I would encourage you to think about.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that, Tracy. What we're going to do now is, because for the last sort of 15 minutes, we're going to do a little bit of a Q&A session with Tracy and our students. So I will bring back Vidafri and Jennifer. Thank you both for joining us again. So we do have a question in the comments, and it was directed at Vidafri, but I'll also pose the question to Jennifer as well. So this question is from Neva. I think hopefully, sorry if I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly. And the question is, in your journey in DMU, did you regret anything and why? So Vidafri, if we can come to you first, and then Jennifer, I'll come to you after.
Okay.
Yes. All right. Thank you, Navya, for this question. And I really don't regret anything, but but I can tell due to COVID-19, the campus was closed and I had to attend online classes, due to which I missed being on an amazing campus and use those highly equipped labs, which is a bit of regret, but it's better safe than sorry. So that that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really sad not being on campus, and like you say, there's so many great facilities, not being able to make the most of those.
And
Jennifer.
now when Georgia has said the campus has turned amazingly, and now I'm feeling a bit sad of not being on the campus and see those new renovations and all that safe, clean campus.
Jennifer, do you have any regrets about DMU?
I won't really say it's a regret, but I think the journey has been a positive one, but I had to change my research topic because the first one I came in with, the first proposal, I had to change. You know, when you're doing your PhD, changes over time. So I wish I actually started with the topic I ended up with. I think it is not really a regret anyway, but just that I just had to spend some more time doing the research. Yeah, that's just it. Not really a regret anyway. Yeah.
It's always frustrating when you can't get things done first time.
Yeah.
But if it's
makes
worked
it
out
better
something that you
personally.
exactly.
Yeah.
So my next question is to yourself, Tracy. So I know a lot of things that people are wondering is, can you study part-time? Is this
Yes,
something that people are able to do?
absolutely. Yes, you can study part-time, and you can even study as an international student. Obviously, part-time takes you twice as long to complete, so completion guidelines for a PhD are formally within 3 years, with an extension to 4 years, and part-time up to 6 to 7 years under current university regulations. So yes, you can study part-time. It's not to say you can't complete sooner than the full registration time for part-time, but in fact I would recommend you to do that if you can, but part-time is certainly possible. We have a number of students doing PhDs alongside full-time jobs, and some running their own businesses, and certainly a number of international students which log in with us on a regular basis. So part-time international is certainly feasible, possible, doable, achievable, and equally as much fun.
I was just going to say, with the students that study part-time, do they still get the same sort of support from sort of the team? Would they still have access to everything that a full-time student would? So I know that's sometimes a concern that they wouldn't get access to everything.
No, they get exactly the same kind of access. It's just that they take longer to complete, obviously, because of other commitments usually. So it's more a convenience thing for the student rather than no, we don't give you the same kind of level of access at all. So it's no different from that kind of respect, if you like. But yeah, it does take longer to complete.
Now this, I never used to know the answer to this until I started sort of working with PG, and that is, what is the actual difference between postgraduate talk courses and postgraduate research?
Well, a talk course is, for example, an undergraduate degree or a taught master's degree. And independent study, like a PhD, is where you devise an original question, or you work with a supervisor to help you devise a research question, and you conduct that research by independent study working with your supervisors. So that's the key difference, really. We do offer some taught PhD courses, which mean that you do follow a number of modules, but the modules are things like helping you to shape a research question, helping you to shape a research methodology. So they're framed rather than taught in the same way that an undergraduate course would be, where you study a very specific module about a subject, if that makes sense.
Yeah, just thank you, Tracy. The next question I have for you, Tracy, sorry, they're all coming your way at the moment, is, as an international student, can I stay in the UK when I finish my PhD?
What I suggest you do there is contact the postgraduate admissions team. I think it's going to be a function of your visa status, really, and I don't know the answer to that. It depends on your own personal circumstances. I would imagine it would be possible if you've got the right visa status.
Yeah, so we've just popped a banner to the email address that you need to drop them. So just email them and they'll be able to help you with any queries. The next question that I have, Tracy, is how does a student go around finding a supervisor?
Well, as I said when I was talking about the different research institutes, usually what would happen is, you've done an undergraduate degree, you may have done a master's as well. You've got an idea of what you're interested in. You've got an idea of something that's you maybe think hasn't really been done before, that you might be interested in looking at further. So what you do is you do a bit of background research into it, which I'm sure both Jennifer and Vidathri will have will sort of give testimony to, if you like. They've done a bit of background work before they even approached us. They'll write it up as a proposal and submit an application. And at that point, when it comes into the doctoral college will, if no supervisor has been identified, they will push it either to me as school head of research students, if it's in our area, and I will make a sort of a judgment as to what discipline it's related to, and send it to the institute head if no supervisor has been identified. But I would encourage anybody that's thinking about applying for a PhD to have a look at the research interests of the team that are involved in the research institutes, and maybe have an informal conversation with them before submitting, so you can actually identify who a supervisor might actually be. And with regard to Jennifer's comment about changing the subject, that's really not very uncommon, because usually what happens in the first year of a PhD is you've got an idea of what the questions are, but you need to assess how original it is, and that means casting the net of research wider and having a look at the breadth of literature, and then coming back in, having done that, sort of got to the nitty-gritty of all of the work that's been done, and then making a decision about what it is you really want to do, what the questions really are. And that might mean settling down on a research focus that probably wasn't your original intention. So there's always that scope to change from what you really thought your question was going to be at the beginning to where you actually end up doing your piece of research. Because at the end of the day, a PhD is about making an original, a claim for an original contribution. You have to be sure that it's an original contribution. That's what makes a PhD.
Thank you, Tracy. So Jennifer, we heard from Jennifer about how she went around and found her supervisor. Vidathri, just how did you find your supervisor? What did you do?
Yes. So it's about learning from from his experience, and learning from the new techniques and easy approach of any problem or problem solving. So all these, there are numerous points from them what I've learned, and also bringing them into your personal perspective and thinking from your side and handling it in your own way is something which was taught, and which made me feel very easy over the subject and also about the course.
Thank you, Vidathri. Tracy, so the next question for yourself is the sort of proposal and everything sounds very sort of extensive that a student would have to. What sort of information would they need to provide in their application?
Sure. Well, some idea that they've read a little bit of literature around the subject area, so a bit of a literature review, things that indicate that they've looked at the most up-to-date thinking on it, some idea of what the research questions are, an idea of how they might go about doing the research, so what the methodology might be, or just original sort of first stage thinking about what that might be as you sort of begin the process, and then what you think the timeline might be to complete the actual research and what you think the contribution of it will be. So it's sort of a 1,500 to 3,000 word statement of all of those things, if you like. It doesn't have to be massively detailed, but it does need to demonstrate a level of commitment to the actual topic that you want to study.
Thank you for that, Tracy. So I know you went through this in your slides in some, but it'd be nice to get like a little bit of a recap. So can you just give us some of the project titles that current students are working on within the media school? I know it's in there. I don't know where you're going to start there, Tracy. Just if you've got any that comes to the top of your head.
It's as broad as it is long. I mean, pick any subject within media. There are so many research questions that you could ask. For example, looking at the current situation, what's the impact of say social media on people's experience of COVID rules and regulations, say, for example. In my discipline area, I have students that are working on things like the roles of virtual production in performance arts, also the experience of augmented reality and placemaking in cityscapes, the role of AI in supporting the development of intellectual property in digital art. Those kinds of subject areas are things that I'm kind of more familiar with. It's pick something that you're interested in. It makes it so much more fun, of course.
Yeah.
So I would definitely encourage you to do that, and then find a supervisor that matches your enthusiasm for the work that you're doing. Hard to do. I know it's hard to do, but it's worth the effort of doing it.
Okay, so I have one last question, and this is for all of you. So I'll start with yourself, Jennifer. So my question, and Vidafri and Tracy, you have a little bit more time to think. What would be your sort of one piece of advice to a student that is looking to start postgraduate research at DMU?
All right, that's a good one. Well, I would say stay focused on what you're here for, because if you're not focused, you can't really achieve your goal. So because the main thing is for you to achieve your goal. If you're doing the research, you need to get to the end. You don't have to drop out of the way. So you just have to stay focused and be positive, to get your end goal. Yeah.
So
advice.
Stay focused and positivity. Love that. Vidafri, what would your piece of advice be?
Yes, in addition to what Jennifer has said, someone like me who has never left home for 22 years, all the way I've traveled to another country, staying alone, doing my course by myself, traveling alone, eating alone, studying alone, all these things impact your life. Always stay focused, as Jennifer said, and maintain a positive attitude towards your problems. I have faced a lot of problems, but I've learned from them. I've faced a lot of difficulties, but I've learned from them. It's a common saying, failure is the stepping stones for success. Yes, but please walk carefully on the stones. Don't slip, don't fall. Hold yourself, breathe, relax. Do achieve what you plan in your life. And also planning, things don't go as you plan, but you have people, you have your mentors, you have supervisors, you have whole staff who's looking after you at De Montfort University. So just stay focused, maintain a positive attitude, approach towards what you need, what you want to achieve.
Thank you for that, Vidafri. Yeah, I think it's really important to know that whether it's your first time, such as Vidafri, where you're leaving home for the first time for 22 years, which is amazing, please know that the DMU staff are there to support you. So if you do need that additional help, please reach out. Your supervisors, you have the Student Advice Centre, DSU, which is a research, De Montfort Student Union, sorry, as a research student, you're still able to access all of those services. So please, if you do need that support, reach out. And last but not least, Tracy, what would your piece of advice be?
Sure. Well, both Jennifer and Vidafri have given excellent advice in terms of the project. What I would suggest is also getting involved with the research community. If you're involved with a research group, take every opportunity. You will have few opportunities in your life to be around scholars of the nature that you will find in these research groups, because once you complete, you will go on and do your own thing. So get involved, be a part of the community, put yourself out in order to get involved, and help develop that research community in the group that you're involved with. So that would be my advice. It's worth the effort.
Thank you so much, Tracy. And I think that's a great place to finish on. So I'd like to say a massive thank you to everybody for watching. Huge thank you to Jennifer and Vidafri for providing us that student perspective. Massive thank you to Tracy for providing us such a great insight as to what there is on offer for postgraduate research opportunities within Leicester Media School. If you are interested to find out a little bit more information, there's going to be banners coming up where you can visit our research pages. We'll also pop those in the comments as well. We do also offer a virtual campus tour. So if seeing that video got you a little bit excited to see what the rest of our campus looks like, you can do a virtual tour of DMU's campus, which looks great, especially in the sun. But for now, as we said, if you do have any more questions, you want to know anything else, please get in touch with the emails that Tracy provided a little bit earlier on in the day. Huge thank you. So we've just had a lovely comment saying thank you for the introduction. Looking forward to getting involved and being part of the community. And from everyone at DMU, we cannot wait to have you as part of our community. But for now, I'd like to say a massive thank you to everyone for watching and hope to see you at DMU soon. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.